and let's get right into it. So here today for our first show, great friend, best friend,
Oh, thanks, man.
awesome person,
Thank
great
you.
musician, Dino Ciccarelli.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So your band name is just your name, right?
Yeah. So I am a solo artist. My name is Dino Ciccarelli, as Thomas said.
Where can people find your music?
Really anywhere online: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, you name it.
You have any albums or singles out?
Yeah. I have a couple singles out. Those singles are included on my album that I released about a year ago. It'll be a year on the 28th. It's called The Beginning. There's a standard edition, and then there's a deluxe edition with 2 extra songs.
What's the album about? Like, what are the songs about?
I mean, when I put out the album, or like when I wrote the album, it wasn't really like an overall story or like an overall message I wanted to put out. There's a bunch of songs on there like that you could put as for like either heartbreak or something that happened in your life that that you just want to get rid of. And like for instance, my song "Letting Go," I wrote that song about a part of my life that was very, very negative, and I don't want it back in my life. So when that negativity tried coming back, it's me saying, like, listen, you had your chance. Like as the song says, you had your chance. You just let it slip away.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there's other songs like "A Thousand Years," which is about someone that you will love and protect for as long as you live.
Yeah, my favorite song from the album is like 1,000 Years and In Your Arms.
Thank you.
2 really good songs.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. You have Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm Twitter, Instagram. Everything is really like facebook.com/Dino Ciccarelli Music. Same thing on Instagram, Dino Ciccarelli Music. Yeah, pretty much you just type my name in anywhere, it's usually pop right up.
All right. There's no other band members or anything?
I mean, I do have my guys that I do gigs with. I do play on stage with. Those guys are Ted Lionetti and Terrence Brathwaite. We had a guitarist at the time, but due to just some stuff in scheduling, we had to he wanted to move on with something else in his career. So we're trying to find a new guitarist. But yeah, right now, really, it's just all the songwriting and putting everything together is me.
How did you meet Terrence and Ted?
Okay. I met Terrence. When did I meet Terrence? I met Terrence within student government here.
Okay.
Because when I started out in student government, Terrence was working alongside my friend Chris for the League of Legends Club. And at first I was like, oh man, this dude's pretty cool and everything. And then I realized, I'm like, wow, wait a second. This kid plays the bass. And we were doing, there was this show that we did on campus, Fall Fest last year. And I was like, listen, I want to play. I wanted to know if maybe you guys wanted to accompany me, play a couple songs. And I knew Ted from a couple of my audio classes. I knew he was a drummer. Then I realized that Ted and Terrence are like best friends. So I'm like, hey guys, do you want to do this? And then ended up just being like, all right. So we did that one show, and we were given the opportunity to play outside of campus. And I was like, dude, let's do this. We got to just sell a couple tickets, and we'll be on stage. We sold the tickets, and then we did our first show together in Amityville Music Hall, and thought it was a pretty good show.
Do you have a website?
I do. It's dinociccarellimusic.wixsite, WIXSITE.com/Dino Music. It's kind of long. Trying to work on that.
And what can they find on there?
Pretty much everything. Like my bio's on there. I have a link to all my music that's on there, so you really don't even have to find it on Spotify or everything like that. You just find it straight on the website. All of my updates. I do have an online store where you can buy some stuff. Help me out. You can buy physical CDs. We have bracelets, T-shirts, you name it.
All right. Okay, so you play any instruments?
Yes, I sing, of course. I play piano. I play some guitar. Those are like my three main things.
Okay, so now I ask, when and why did you start playing?
I mean, ever since I could remember when I was younger, I always loved music. Pretty much, I think everybody just loves music. I don't know anyone
I
that
don't know.
doesn't like music. But it was around the time I was 4 years old, and my mom was going through the Stop and Shop ads and found this girl who is, I believe, in high school at the time, who is offering piano lessons. And so I was 4 at the time. My sister was about 6 or 7 at the time. Um, and so we decided to pick up piano. And both of us, neither of our legs could hit the pedals. So we're literally just starting straight from the beginning. No pun intended.
Yeah, really.
So we started picking up lessons. I think I took piano lessons for about 11 years. I kind of stopped around the time I was in middle school, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do music anymore. I was really big at the time into like the getting into sports and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to do music anymore. And then look where we are right now.
Yeah.
On
Changed your
your
mind
on your
again.
show about
Yeah.
music. But yeah, and then I started singing. This is actually a funny story. I always like to like sing around, but not like in front of a whole lot of people. I worked at a summer camp, a Boy Scout summer camp, and every single night we had campfires, and there was always like a skit or something or whatever like that. And this one kid, he had brought a keyboard, so we were like fooling around. We're playing a bunch of songs, everything. He was like, "Oh yeah, do you know how to play piano?" I was like, "I do. I can play piano, guys." And then started singing a song. They're like, "Wow, like you realize how good you are, right?" I'm like, "Oh, thank you." So like that's really where I started like singing in front of people.
Broke the shell.
Yeah, that's what really broke the shell. And then once I like left the camp and everything, like school started back up again. We had like a whole bunch of stuff at school where it's like, oh, open mic type shows. I think they called it Spotlight. It was kind of like you had your own little concert.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I did some stuff like that. My senior year, we had this thing called Senior Celebrity. And that's like when they give out the awards, like the Class Clown Awards and Best Couple of the Year, whatever. So at that point, like no one really knew that I was like a singer or musician or whatever. I didn't really like I didn't go out there and be like,
Promote
"Hey
it.
guys, like I'm singing and
Yeah,
whatever."
you didn't promote it or
Yeah.
anything.
So I was asked by one of the teachers to perform, and we were doing the sound check the day before, and they're like, wow, like we want you on last. So I'm like, oh boy,
Last? Really?
yeah. I'm like, I was supposed to go on, I think like second or third, and I was not ready for that. I'm like, wow, are you serious?
Under pressure.
Exactly. And then like that show is really my first big show in front of a big crowd. It was literally the entire senior class plus the families and stuff like that. So then fast forward to Five Towns. Here there's basically open mics every other week.
Yeah.
So I try to get involved in stuff like that and promote. Been doing some shows outside of school.
So you were taught at first? You had a
Yes.
teacher?
Yes.
Then did you become self-taught, or did you keep getting being taught by someone, or?
I mean, I was taught by a teacher when I was younger, and when I stopped taking lessons and I was like, oh, I don't want to do music. I kind of like just kept going with it. Learned to play different songs, and then of course learning to play different songs, you learn how to do different chords and stuff because like
Yeah.
you have the regular chords and 7 chords and all this other stuff that you could play on the piano, which makes it sound pretty nice.
What was your first song that like you learned?
Oh my
Like
gosh.
either singing, keyboard, guitar, whatever.
Oh man, I wouldn't even be able to tell you because when we started playing piano, my mom would always bring us to Sam Ash back when they sold piano music.
All right.
So like we have this whole library at home just of like a lot of older stuff because at the time it was like that was the new stuff, like out on the radio. Um, things I first learned how to play. I won't lie. I first learned how to play a lot of the Backstreet Boys songs.
Okay.
Backstreet Boys are definitely the one of the groups that helped get me into music.
Yeah, they were big back then. So.
Yeah, very big group. Very influential, especially for someone that's within the pop genre. But yeah, stuff like that.
How about guitar?
Guitar I kind of dabble on. I feel like if there's like an actual guitar song that I want to learn, I'll just sit and learn it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did a cover of "This Town" by Niall Horan. I actually sat and learned how to play that for about a couple of days. Another song I tried learning how to play was "Dust in the Wind." It's not a too difficult song to like learn or pick up. But yeah.
Don't you have a YouTube video of you playing guitar? I can't remember what the song was.
Oh my, yeah. I did a cover of "This I Promise You" by NSYNC.
That's what it was.
And if you pay attention closely, me playing was literally just on one string. It was it was not like a full on like I'm into it playing this chord by chord.
Mm-hmm.
That one was just kind of like it made it sound a little bit better. But yeah.
Any other family members musically? Like musical? Or?
I'm going to say no, other than me and my sister. My mom says that when she was younger, she played the flute, but she hated it. She didn't like it. It was one of those things like her mom told her, "You're going to play the flute." My mom was in choirs when she was in high school, but if you were to tell her to play a chord on the piano right now, she'd be like, "Nah, that's not happening."
So just you and your sister?
Yeah.
Does your sister still do anything? Or?
Not as much as she used to. I know she's always saying that she wants to like pick stuff back up and like start doing like make recordings and stuff again. But no.
So obviously you write your own songs.
Yes.
So what's your songwriting process?
My songwriting process. Usually it's me in front of a piano. I try going based on beat of a song. So like if it's gonna be a beat song, it's gonna be a slow song. But usually if I don't put that into my writings, I usually just go straight on like what chords sound pretty good together, and then just go based on okay. So we have this set of chords. This is what I'm writing. It really depends on what the theme of the song is for me to decide if it's gonna be an upbeat or a slow song.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's usually just me in front of a piano, pen and paper.
So your music first, lyrics after, or?
It's a mix of both. Because sometimes, like, a couple of the songs that I had written for the album was a lot of music first, and then some of them there was a lot of words first. For example, "In Your Arms" was a words first song.
Right.
"Letting Go" was a music first. I feel for "Letting Go," what really led me to help write the lyrics was the fact that I had the melody in the beginning, because that song is just piano. There's no other instruments on there, so it's really just me and the piano on there. So that's what really helped put out the lyrics for that one.
I know that I write lyrics as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do lyrics first, music afterwards, mainly because I don't do like piano or guitar.
Mm-hmm.
When you come up with lyrics, do you just experience, come up with like a single topic? Because I know for me, it's all my songs are based off experiences that either I had or a friend had, and I write off that.
I feel like if I have an idea of what I want to write, like say you want to write a song about friendship, you have an overall idea of what you want to write about. Because you say you write about friendship, you have someone or something in mind that you're gonna write about, and then it's really just what you want to say. I feel like it's what you want to say, but you're not saying it straightforward. You know what I mean? Where it's like you can say, for example, Queens, "You're my best friend." They blatantly say, "You're my best friend."
Yeah.
But it's just the way that you can like word a sentence where it's just like you're saying you're an amazing person, you're great by not saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of like a hidden message more.
Yeah.
For me, I know I write more of like, cause like I said, it's off experience. They're more of, I guess, sad songs. Like,
Okay.
they're not happy song upbeats or anything. Do you have a lot of
Um.
upbeat songs, down songs? I know "Letting Go" is kind of like,
Yeah, it's more of a slow song and everything like that. Personally, I feel like writing slower songs is a little bit easier than writing an upbeat song. Of course, like there's some upbeat songs on the album. I feel like slower songs is just a little bit easier when it comes to like showing your emotion.
kind of hits you more. Right? It's like,
Yeah.
when it's slower, just like it's a more. Oh man.
Yeah, it's like something
Like
I feel like it's a little bit more powerful than an upbeat song because
Definitely.
like I'm trying to think like say you have an upbeat song, you're getting your point across and it's more of something like, "Oh yeah, someone's going to be like, "Okay, this is like a song that I can like nod my head to or tap my foot to or whatever." And then you have a slow song it's like, "Wow, did he really just say that?" Like
Yeah. What musicians do you admire?
admire. Okay. So everybody really knows the main artist that I admire within music is Gavin DeGraw. I feel like both of our writing styles are kind of alike. I mean, his are probably like 10 times better than mine. But I feel like I connect a lot with his music just based on the messages that he tries putting out. There's one song that I really connected with of his, Harder to Believe, off of his last album. It's like basically you don't see what someone's really going through until you actually see it. You know what I mean? Like you judge someone just on their look or what type of phone they have or what kind of car they drive.
Yeah, you don't know what's happened to them or what they've been through.
You don't like exactly. You don't know what they've been through. You don't understand the struggle until you see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really connect with his music. Ed Sheeran, Bruno Mars, really talented musician. I really connect with his music as well.
I do remember first time seeing you play was here stage last year.
Okay.
It was your round. I remember going to that round because I wanted to hear you perform. You had music and I was interested because I didn't really know you yet, but like
Yeah.
knew who you were. I remember you played Letting Go. I think it was.
Yes.
I remember hearing it and being like, it sounds like Gavin DeGraw. I mean,
wow.
I know Gavin DeGraw from One Tree Hill because he does the theme song.
Yeah.
So I thought like your song would be from him that would be on One Tree Hill.
Oh wow.
I remember saying that saying that to you afterwards. Like makes sense because like he's your inspiration. You know? Like for me, it's like Black Veil Brides and the heavy rock
Yeah.
chord, and that my songs are a lot like theirs. So you would say Gavin DeGraw, you've learned from, or like, is there any other musicians that you've like learned from?
I mean, I feel like I've learned the most just from his music. Of course, there's other musicians as well. Like there's Billy Joel, who I've learned a lot of, especially like on the piano side. Because when I first started playing piano, it was just like, just out of like the little workbooks that you get when you're first learning.
Yeah.
What really helped me with piano was a lot of Billy Joel's music. When I started learning how to play like New York State of Mind, literally the entire beginning of the song is just straight piano. And that song is really difficult to play.
I could imagine. Every time I hear that song, I'm like,
yeah. Stuff like that. Other songs of Billy Joel that I really enjoy listening to, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. I love the different parts of the songs. The song's like in 3 parts. They're like I think 7 or 8 minutes long. But yeah, Billy Joel, Gavin DeGraw. I really enjoy, as you know, Panic at the Disco.
Yes.
Brendan Urie. I don't think that I include that type of music style in my music. I feel like Panic at the Disco is more of a band that I just love listening to.
I mean, they're very, very, very upbeat.
Yes.
So like,
Yeah, it's like 90% of the songs are upbeat.
yeah.
But yeah.
Is there any other? Speaking of Panic at the Disco, do you have other favorite musicians besides them?
Besides them, like I said, Ed Sheeran, Bruno Mars. There's this musician. His name is Ben Rector. I know I was telling you about.
Yes.
fantastic musician. Not a whole lot of people know about him.
His songs are so good.
Yeah. Andy Grammer, very underrated. He's just starting to get some more exposure on the radio, which I'm very happy about.
Okay. What are some fondest like music memories? Maybe at home, at a show, neighborhood, town, school. Any like moments that are like, you know.
Well, with just starting out, like I told you before, with like me performing at camp and everything like that. But I think my most fondest memory was actually at my last show. I was playing This Town on the guitar, and the guitar went out of tune in the middle of the performance.
God.
I was so embarrassed. I remember I was playing, and I'm like, "Oh no, this is really bad." But you just got to keep going.
Just gotta keep playing.
Definitely performing at stage this past semester. That was a really one of my best performances I think we've put on, just because we made it past the first round, and I was like, okay, we're going to main stage. So yeah, so we make it to main stage. We're starting to practice and everything. We had very little practice time. We had about a month to prepare, and then actual rehearsal time was about like a couple of days before.
Also had to get like, members, right? You told.
Asking around. I know I had Ted and Terrence. We were just trying to find a guitarist at the time. Just getting through the pressure of like, this is a real competition. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just sit at the piano.
It's not like an open mic or anything.
Yeah, this isn't like a normal open mic. Like, this was like in front of the school. A lot of people showed up who were like ready. They had judges they brought in
from some labels, right?
Yeah, I think it was Dream Recording Studios. Some alumni of the school.
Yeah.
So it was very nerve-wracking. I remember standing backstage and I was like, okay, we got this. And they're like, okay, you're about to go on. I'm like, I don't got this. I'm not ready.
Heart sank and
yes.
everything.
But no, I feel like we did a really good job. That's one of my my biggest performances, biggest moments as of yet.
Yeah, I do agree. I loved, especially the songs you played. Because what songs you played?
I played Perfect by Ed Sheeran, All I Ask by Adele. I did Runaway Baby by Bruno Mars. Which that song, oh my God, that song gave me so much stress. Because originally when we were first performing it, it was in the normal key. And I'm like, okay, we got this, yeah. And I start singing, I'm like, oh no.
So
I didn't prepare for this. So we had to do some adjustments. We changed the key and everything. And once we got it down, you saw, and the performance and everything, I think we really hit it out of the park. And then the last song we did was 1,000 Years, of course, the song I wrote. I feel, like I said, I feel like we did a really, really good job. I mean, even though we didn't win, I was still very proud of my guys. Like I said, we did a great job.
Yeah, they don't tell us who made second, third, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think you were a good second place.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Going back now, from what you said about your guitar getting out of tune.
Yeah.
That was one of my questions. Have you had mistakes happen at
plenty of times.
Performances or anything?
There's been plenty of times. I mean, no one's perfect.
Well, yeah.
Like, you really gotta, like, even like the biggest of stars, there's gonna be a mistake on stage or something's gonna happen, where you just, like I said, just gotta keep going on. There was that. Off the top of my head, I can't really remember. But yeah, no, there's been plenty of times where I've played wrong chords by accident. There's been a couple times where I forgot the words. But yeah, no. Like I said, nobody's perfect. There's always going to be something.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many times you run the show, how many times you run your set. There's always going to be something.
So like you say, you just
keep going.
Play through it.
Yeah.
Keep going. Okay.
Just keep going. You
Don't
learn
stop.
from your mistake.
Yeah. So you've been in competitions because like stage was technically competition.
There was that. Last year and the year before, we had the Five Towns awards. I was nominated for a bunch of awards. The first year we did the awards here, I won Artist of the Year and Breakout Artist of the Year. And then last year I won Song of the Year for Letting Go.
Okay. You also host, right?
Yes, last year I hosted the show as well.
Awards.
Yeah. That was fun.
You get nervous, right,
Oh yeah.
before performing,
Like I said, when we
or
were
yeah, or competition during,
Yeah, no, like I said before, especially with stage. Well, last year when I first did stage, I was kind of nervous because that would really be the first time performing an original song
Mm-hmm.
in front of people. But fast forward to this year for main stage, like I said, I was like, okay, we got it down. We practiced earlier that day. I'm like, we sound pretty good. So we're waiting in the backstage. All the other performers are performing. I think it was by the time that Taylor Hogan got off stage and Sarah went on stage.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, starting to get a little bit nervous. And then once they're like, okay, you're up next.
That's when your heart-
She's doing the last song. I'm like, okay, oh no.
Heart. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun.
because like I said, this was one of the biggest shows that we've ever performed at, especially in the main theater on the huge stage. But yeah, that's really one of my most significant moments of being nervous on stage.
When I did in middle school, it's like kind of like American Idol kind of thing for our school.
Yeah.
I remember I did it for 3 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and every time person next to me goes up, right, and I was next, I'm like, oh god,
Yeah.
heart thumping and everything. Especially 8th grade, since it was the last time, and I was doing something totally different. I was doing a Black Veil Bride song. I was dressed up in makeup and everything.
Yeah. Well, we're here.
Yeah,
First episode.
that's why I wanted to do you, because comfortable, because best friend and everything.
No, thank you.
So obviously you recorded.
Yes.
You recorded here, right?
Yeah. For the album, pretty much all of the songs were recorded in the studios at the school here.
Okay.
Except for the song "The Beginning" and the introduction to "The Beginning." That stuff I had actually recorded on my computer on my software with just basically mixing all myself. All the other songs, of course, were recorded here. I was very lucky to have met two very talented audio majors here. Jonathan Pereira, who is a Five Towns graduate, and Amber Hammerschlag, who's one of my best friends. She helped mix 1,000 Years. So
Oh, she did?
yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was very, very honored to meet the two of them and have them mix the songs.
I've sat in the studio with you when you did this town.
Yes.
So what makes a good session to you? Like,
Um.
I'll first start off for your album, because it was your song. It's the way you wanted it to sound and everything.
Yeah.
Well, how was that? Like, the way you did it, the process, and what'd you do first? Did it, go to your expectation? Did something not go right?
Yeah. Well, recording my original music compared to recording the cover of This Town was a little bit different. Recording the my original music, when I first started recording in the studios, it's actually a funny story. Jonathan had actually messaged me and he's like, hey, I have a studio time. I was wondering if you wanted to record anything. So this was literally like a day or two before the actual session. So I'm like, oh man, like, oh, okay. Like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So he's like, we're going through the details and everything. He's like, yeah, like, do you have any original music you want to record? I'm like, as a matter of fact, I do. So at the time, I only had like 3 songs written. Letting Go, my song More Than Friends, and Need. Those are the 3 songs that we recorded first. I think it was around May of 2016 that we started recording. So we recorded those. As to what we did first was it was literally just me at the piano. What we did was I had an idea of if the songs were fast or what the like what the tempo was and everything. So Need and More Than Friends, they're upbeat songs. So we had put some drum loops in there just to get an idea of how we want it to sound. We recorded piano. We did some bass, strings, all that type of stuff. Threw those together. Like I said earlier, Letting Go was just piano, so that was a little bit easy to record. And then we just did vocals. Literally, we got 3 songs done in I think 4 hours. So
Wow.
we got a lot of work done. And then of course Jonathan sent them to me. I released my first single, More Than Friends, in around July of that year. And then I spent over the summer writing a little bit more. And then by November, I had all the songs like for the album finished, being written. And then we got some recording done in December. And then the last of the recordings was done when we came back from January break. So I think around the beginning of February was when the last song was finished. So then I just wanted to put the music out as soon as possible. So once everything was finished, I had it copywritten, and then we released it. So, and like I said earlier on the show, the album's going to be out about a year. On the 28th will be a full year out on iTunes and stuff like that.
Of February though.
Yeah. But yeah.
But how was doing This Town?
Yes.
How's it different doing a cover than from doing your original?
I feel like doing a cover, there's a lot less pressure than an original song, because you have an idea of like what you want to include in a cover. A lot of the stuff that was in the song, like of course, like the beat, the bass, piano, all that stuff, I had it already pre-done before. So before I actually had the session, I worked on it on my computer. So that stuff was really pretty much out of the way. I used the studio just to record the guitar and vocals, because the equipment that we have here is just
So much.
too amazing.
Why not use it?
Yeah.
You're paying for it.
Yeah.
You're here.
There's a lot less pressure. When I was recording my originals, it was just me and Jonathan, or me and Amber. So, because at the time we were recording the cover, you were there, a couple of our other friends were there. So it was just like, if you guys had an idea or a critique that we could like fix in studio, you guys were there to help me with that.
Not to toot my own horn, I was the engineer.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
You performed in public, obviously.
Obviously,
We talked about everything we already talked about. You want to go in more depth of your shows? Like, I know one thing you haven't talked when you did you played on radio here.
Yeah.
For
I
for
played
what?
on here for Narco and JD. I did their show. I did a couple of songs. I did In Your Arms, and then did a cover of This Is Gospel. Loved working with them, with those guys. Being in studio with them, I was really honored that they had asked me to perform on the show. I did that. Some out of school performances. Like I said, I did a show at Amityville Music Hall. I did a couple shows at Revolution, also in Amityville. Really great shows. I did a show with this artist. His band name's Rosedale. Mike is a really awesome dude.
He was really good too. I was there.
Yeah. So, because that was the first time I really listened to his music. I heard of the Taylor Swift song that he performed that night. I heard that a couple years before. I'm like, man, someone wrote a song about Taylor Swift. Like, wow. And then hearing the rest of his music, really, I was like, wow, he's like really, really good. Like I said, really awesome guy. Doing shows with stuff like that. Some other Long Island artists that I've done shows with. Really great experience. Was able to help me get my name out there as well. So I was able to like show people my music. People would like ask for more information on my music. I would give out CDs and stuff like that, just to get a little bit exposure for people who aren't familiar with my music.
How often and how long do you practice?
I try to practice as much as possible. With school and work and everything, it's kind of hard to fit practice in. But when I do, it's usually like sit at the piano and just work on stuff. Sometimes, like if I'm not writing something specific, I'll just sit at the piano and play a couple songs, like a couple of songs that I've been listening to that I really like at the time, and just like fool around, jam on the piano. It could be for like 20 minutes, could be for 2 hours. So it really depends on timing and stuff like that. I know like when I'm home and like at my computer with my keyboard and everything like that, it's really just really go for it. Like just play whatever. Yeah, like I said, it could be 20 minutes or 2 hours or even longer.
Oh, okay. So how do you practice? Do you do exercise, new tunes, hard tunes, old tunes?
Like I said, I mean, when it comes to like just jamming up with songs, it could really be anything. There have been times where there's just like an older song that I really like, and then there's sometimes where it's just like, oh man, I just heard the song on the radio. Like, let's try it, you know. There was one time I was actually at work, at the store I work at, and we have the radio playing and everything. I'm like, wow, this is actually a pretty good song. And I put my phone up to it to see like who sings it and whatever.
Oh, you have that up?
Yeah. So I was like, oh cool. Like I didn't realize it was the song "Rain" by The Script, because it sounds nothing like what The Scripts used to sound like when they were putting out like "Break Even" or
That's like
"The Man That Can't Be
know.
Moved." Like that stuff is more kind of like rock-ish type, but
Yeah,
more like
Break Even. That's like the only song I know by them. But
yeah. But like "Rain," I was like, wow, like this is really not them. Like I really liked it. And so it could be something like that, or it could be something like "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen. That song is like probably my favorite Queen song ever. But it's like you said, new tunes, old tunes. It really depends on what at the time I'll be listening to.
What you feel like.
Yeah.
You don't do exercise or anything, like do scales and chords?
No.
No. You're past that point.
Yeah, I mean, scales. It's always good to do scales, but it's not really necessary. Like if I have, like, say I want to rehearse my own music, I know the chords, I know all that stuff, so it's not really necessary. But of course, scales and stuff like that is good to know, especially if you're playing a song that has crazy chords in it.
Yeah.
You need to know what notes are in that scale.
You mentioned this before when I asked about how often or you practice. But how do you balance your music with other part of your life, like partner, girlfriend, or you don't have children?
God, I hope not.
Job, school, and everything.
I mean,
Because you are a senior now, right?
yes, I'm a senior here at the school.
Gonna lose you next semester.
I'm gonna be here next semester.
No, that's what I'm saying, after next semester.
No, but it's kind of like I have my set schedule, so I know when I'm gonna be on campus. I know when I'm gonna be at work. I'm gonna know when I'm gonna be at the store, when I'll be home. So I try to incorporate it through there. A lot of the times that I sit and practice would most likely be at night or on the weekends if it's like in the morning.
Yeah.
Like that. I try to get it in as much practice as I can, just because, like the saying goes, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Like nobody's perfect, but I just want to be good. Yeah,
near perfect. Like,
yeah,
there's no such thing as perfect, but like
it's like right underneath.
yeah, like your mind, like, and you think you're perfect to
Yeah.
you. And
Like
obviously,
I want to try to be the best that I could be within my music. I try to write the best way that I can. I try to play this the best way that I can. And like I said before, if you mess up, you learn from it.
yeah.
Just try to be the best that I can be.
Last question I had that I written down was, what advice would you give to beginners, either if they're nervous for playing, or if they don't know how to write, or if they want to write, if they don't know if they should put their music out or anything?
For beginners, for performing, I feel like for beginners, definitely start small. Start with someone like a family member or one of your close friends. To be quite honest, I mean, in my opinion, your friends and family are really like your harshest critics.
Besides you, yeah.
Yeah. Like I know whenever I perform in front of my my mom, and this is really funny, she'll be like, "Oh, that note was a little flat." I'm like, You don't even know what flat means.
That's my mom. She'll say something like that, and like my dad will criticize me to the fullest because he knows
Yeah.
music and everything.
Yeah, so like my thing is start small at first, and then just gradually go towards bigger crowds. I mean, when it comes to writing, like I said, no one's perfect, especially if you're starting out writing. I'll be honest with you, the first stuff that I wrote was trash.
Same.
Like,
I'll totally second that.
yeah, like it just was not good. It was like, yeah, I like you and I think you like me. No, it was just bad.
The worst rhymes ever in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So, just keep writing. There's the saying like put your 1,000 hours in. Once you just keep going with it. Even if there's like you don't have to sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna write a song today. Even if you just have one line, just write it down. Like everyone has a phone. Everyone has a phone that has the notes app in it.
Yeah.
Just write it in that. Just type it in.
And if not, take a pen and write it on your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Or piece of paper or whatever.
I've done that before. So.
Yeah. Like there's been plenty of times where I've thought up something and then 2 seconds later it was gone.
Yeah,
so
I've had that multiple times, and
that's how
the worst ever.
That's like what I'm saying. Like you need to, when you have the idea, just write it down as soon as possible. So that's with writing. And what was the third part? You said performing, writing, and what?
If you want, like, if someone wants to get their music out there, release it. If they don't think like, oh, it's not good enough, but like other people,
Hey, I mean, there's been plenty of times I've heard someone say, "Oh, my music is not good enough" or whatever. You never know. Like I said, my first stuff was trash. Someone could have been like, "What are you talking about? That's like the best song I've ever heard." So when it comes to like putting your music out, definitely start with YouTube or SoundCloud. YouTube is really the best option because it has the video option. So you'll have someone seeing that it's you performing your talents and everything like that. Once you gain an audience, and you start seeing like your subscribers going up, more likes on your videos and stuff like that, definitely start looking into putting your stuff on iTunes and Spotify. It's really simple. There's tons of websites that you can go on and pay. I think it's like a tiny fee of like $30 a year, $50 a year, where you could upload your music and they send it to iTunes, they send it to Spotify. Personally, I use the website DistroKid. Fantastic website. You have unlimited uploads.
Yeah, I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah, they're great. It's like $36 a year. Unlimited uploads to every single distributor, iTunes, Spotify, you name it. So it gets your music out there. Because like with Spotify, that's like the biggest site right now for music.
Yeah, all my music I listen off to Spotify.
Yeah, because like of course there's the free option where you'll hear the music, but there's ads. But like you're paying for it, and you get no ads. You could choose whatever you want to listen to, and you're really helping that artist. So say if you find someone that's on YouTube, and you have a Spotify account and you're listening to their music, they're making money off of your stream. So you're really helping them in the end. Now, my biggest thing is that if you really like the artist and you've listened to them on Spotify, then buy their music. So you're helping them out just by listening to their music. Now, granted, Spotify money is not as much as iTunes money, because it's being streamed. You're not buying it.
Yeah.
But if you like that artist's music, I'm gonna go and get that person's music on iTunes, whether it's on iTunes or if it's a CD. Now, personally, I love the physical merchandise, so like I have CDs all over the place. My biggest thing is if I listen to their music and I like it, I'll buy the CD. But always support the artists, even if there's a time where they put out music that you don't like. Eventually, you're gonna like it. There's been like Panic at the Disco's last album that came out, Death of a Bachelor. I was like, not too sure about it. I was like, okay, it's a different type of sound, and then it grew on me. Love the album now. But there's plenty of artists I like that changed their sound, and people are like, oh, it's not like the original. It's not the same, yada, yada, yada. And then it grows on them.
Well, going back to what you said about you can have a song and be like, oh, it's terrible. But someone be like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
I know what you mean, because I have a song that I wrote years ago that I still have and still consider because of what it means. I I think it's like cheesy. It's a really cheesy song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the rhymes and everything.
Yeah.
But everyone I've shown it to, they're like, "Oh, that's such a good song. Can't wait to hear it."
Yeah.
So it's like if for any advice, like just do it. Don't.
Yeah. Don't think twice about it because, like we said earlier, you're your harshest critic.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you're gonna be like, I don't like it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not putting this out. But once someone else hears it and they tell you that it's either good or bad, that's what you should go off of.
Once again, your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook that they can find you on website.
Yeah, find me anywhere, Dino Ciccarelli. That's my name.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me at facebook.com/Dino Ciccarelli Music. Instagram, Dino Ciccarelli Music as well. Twitter, I think my username is Dino Ciccarelli _. And then you can find my music really anywhere on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So my entire album is put in a playlist on my YouTube as well. So there's that.
All right. So everyone, go listen to Dino's music. Like and subscribe to his YouTube. Definitely good music. You'll love it.
Thank you.
And definitely buy it. It's worth the money.
And you help me out too.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for the first show. Yeah, that's it. So hope you enjoyed, and we'll have Dino back on.
Yeah, maybe I'll be back. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm your host again, Thomas Grabuznik. See you later, guys. Peace.